This is Severe MMA, and we're alongside SBG and for today, Full Contact Performance Center's Matt Inman. A few weeks out from your welterweight, and a well-deserved, I'm going to say, a welterweight title shot, Carl Psycho Amuso, February 18th, the Indigo 02 for Cage Warriors. This is a title that I know you've always said you're not, it was never about titles, but this is one that has to mean a little something to you.
Yeah, this is definitely a title that means something. But like we've won titles before on on domestic shows at domestic level basically, and I feel like this is definitely a step up. It's a belt that means something. I think in the context of European MMA, if you look at who's had the belt before and what they went on to do, and it's a clear stepping stone. I think if there's any other. There's not another route as defined to get to where I want to be, which is in the UFC, as to do that through Cage Warriors. So yeah, it definitely means something this time.
You took a last-minute fight, 3 weeks' notice, so that's last minute enough for me against Che Mills at Unplugged. Fight of the year for 2016. Do you think that the fact that you were willing to step up on short notice has made them simply they can't ignore you? This was a title shot that you went out and you earned, as opposed to perhaps people say, well, they give title shots here and there. This one you earned.
Yeah, I think there was three factors going into that fight. There was the fact of it being short notice. It was literally like I remember kind of a day where I found out that the Carl Booth fight wasn't going to happen. It was a Sunday. I was in here doing this class with FCPC, and I'd messaged Ian and asked if they had anything, and we said, well, that's the option. You can step in on Unplugged to fight against Shea, and then there's the performance itself. The fight got a lot of views because it was a good fight.
It's a great fight. I'm sorry.
We got fight of the year, so happy days with that, and then. Yeah, just that kind of the willingness to step in there and like you say, asking. I don't normally ask for things, but that was something I really wanted to do. So I asked for it afterwards, and fortunately the circumstances have conspired and given me this shot. So that's what I'm focused on doing now.
Was it kind of like the fates conspiring with Carl being unable to fight? Because I presume that fight you'd have taken, and the Shea Mills fight might not have happened. Is this like fate, finally karma?
Yeah, well, if you want to call it fate or karma or something like that, but there's been so many times where things haven't come off, over the last 10 years, and opportunities have been missed through whatever reason, and it just felt like this time it all came together. Like you say, if Carl had never pulled to go fight on Brave, I'd have never been on that Unplugged card. I'd have done the fight on Made for the Cage, and we probably wouldn't be having this conversation now. But here we are.
And here we are. We're talking about Carl Amuso, and this is a guy who's no stranger to the big stage. He's Bellator vet, 30+ fights experience, Venator, Abu Dhabi Warriors. This is a guy who's traveled like you. You've been around the promotions. Where does he present the most dangerous option for you? Where do you not want to be with this guy?
I don't think it's a case of not wanting to be anywhere in particular. What the guy is he's dangerous, and he's especially dangerous early. Like I think if you look at his last 6 fights, he's 6 wins, but it's something like 5 finishes in the first round. And he can finish you on the feet, and he can finish you on the ground. How I feel a little bit about him is, I don't want to use the word wild, but I don't feel like there's a lot of process to what he does. I feel like watching the footage, watching the last few fights, he gets these finishes, these brutal finishes, but they're not kind of set up or anything. It's really a case of him seizing the opportunity, using what he has, and that's for sure some incredible power, a good bag of skills. He's got some great quick submissions and stuff like that, but really the way he applies those is kind of, it's almost haphazard. He gets the finishes, but it comes from anywhere, and also the fact, I think in those, no doubt he's been up against some top opposition, but I think in those fights in where he's fought up to the level where I think I am and I'm performing at, he's come up short. His best victories are against guys who he should have beaten.
He's physically strong. He's gifted a bit. You've been training with some pretty physically strong welterweights as well, but Paul Daly, you've been working a little bit with him. Is that in preparation for this fight, or is that just happy coincidence?
Yeah, another one that was just kind of fortunate coincidence at the time. Like I think Paul reached out to us because he was looking for some fresh bodies to work with and stuff as he fights on Bellator this month. So he was looking for people to train with, and it just so happened that he's really the kind of, at least for one aspect of this fight, the perfect sparring partner. Because if you want to go find me a welterweight in the world who's more powerful, more dangerous on the feet, particularly than that guy, then go tell me who that is, because I'm not sure.
I almost dread asking this question, seeing as I'm locked in the cage and I can't get out with you. But perhaps if people were to throw any criticism about a Matt Inman performance, it might be slow starter, that you tend to get tagged a little bit and then wake up. Can you afford that with a Musa?
I don't think so, no. I think that's been a valid criticism in a few fights, but then you look at like a lot of the fights I've not fallen into that pattern. With Shea, I got caught early, but then the fight before that, David Rosman, I was in control for 30 minutes before I finished it of that fight. You look at the Tommy Quinn fight, that's one of the guys in the UK who I think probably one of the most underrated guys, and definitely one of the guys who's dangerous early. And I took it to him early. I've definitely got that ability within me, and that's what I'm working on every day. Like, make no mistake, I recognise this fight is going to be straight into the fire. You know, this kid's not going to give me any breathing room. He's going to be on me from the start. He's going to be looking to finish early. But look at my fights as well. You know, look at like, I'm not throwing pillows out there. I'm 17 finishes out and 19 wins. A lot of those have been early as well. You know, if you come reckless at me, I'm going to make you pay for that.
Matt, we appreciate your time, especially after you taught a class and got people to go. One more question. Come February 18th, it's cheesy, it's cliche. Is it going to be the best Matt Inman we've seen? And why?
Yeah, it is. I say this every time. I say it's going to be the best version of me you'll see, and that's because I'm always working. I'm constantly improving. There's improvements I've made since the Shea Mills fight. I mean, we're only standing here 2 months after that fight, and I can honestly say if the me now got in the cage with the me from that night, I'd stop. You know, like that's you look at any of these past fights I've had and going into every one, because I'm constantly improving, because that's my, I've got that growth mindset. I can honestly say I am better every time I fight. So you're going to see the best version of me, no doubt.